Hello everyone. I found my fifth flip-flop, and that is the swastika. Just in the last week or two, I was looking at one that looked like this, and I was thinking to myself, well, that's not the way I remember it. And I was also thinking to myself, how am I going to remember how to describe the way it is now versus the way I remember it? And I remember that I said to myself, this was again just in the last week or two, that I would remember the wrong way as a Z. Now, I didn't know that I guess there's a counterclockwise and a clockwise on this, and a left and a right. Like this is the right one and this is the left one. And when I first studied this today, um, I got them mixed up because I guess this is the counterclockwise one. I guess you're pushing down on this and it's going counterclockwise. Well, to me, I thought it was clockwise because I thought you would be leading with that way and going around. But anyway, apparently this is counter and this is clockwise because I guess you're pushing down on this bar here, I guess, is the way they think of it. At least that's what this says right here. This way is counterclockwise. So I guess you're pushing on that bar and so it's going counterclockwise, pushing on this bar and so it's going clockwise. Okay, and where I found that image at first was this site, Lesson from the Past. This looks like an interesting site, notes from an archaeology enthusiast. And goes into the history. Of course, it's used all over the world, goes into the Hindu and Buddhist history of it. These were found in India. Comes from the Sanskrit swastika, which actually you would pronounce this swastika in German as well because W's are V's, meaning it is well-being, good existence, and good luck. The right-hand swastika is a symbol of the god Vishnu. And the sun, left-hand swastika, is a symbol of Kali and magic. Apparently the right-hand one, though, is viewed positively, and the left one is viewed negatively. And also, I guess it says that about the pentagram as well. If the point is going down, it's negative, and if it's going up, it's positive, which I guess that makes sense. But anyway, the reason I was thinking about this, well, for one, I just knew within the last couple of weeks that I had seen it the other way. You know, I'd seen it like this, and I knew that was wrong. This is what I remember. But the whole reason that I was thinking about that tonight was because I saw a show about Hitler on the American Heroes channel. Now, I think this might be an Emmy in and of itself. I've never heard of this channel until tonight. I mean, maybe I've flipped through it in the guide or whatever, but it says it started in 1998. I don't think I've ever seen it before tonight or noticed it anyway. And it's interesting so much that there's always blue and red. I mean, there's a chevron symbol as well. But anyway, it was a show about Hitler. And of course, that's a huge Emmy for most people as well. For one thing, in my old reality, we never had color photographs that I remember. I don't ever remember that. And of course, he also apparently has blue eyes. In my reality, he had brown. And this picture is just utterly ridiculous. For one thing, he had brown eyes in our reality, or a lot of our old reality. And this mustache looks... I never saw pictures like that with it. It did not look like that. It just didn't look like that. I just laugh every time I see that mustache. It's just hilarious to me. And anyway, I saw this Twilight Zone episode that has a little bit of residual on the brown eyes. It's called He's Alive, and it's with Dennis Hopper. and it's pretty interesting. Look at that young Dennis Hopper right there. Um, but anyway, when it got to this scene in the show, I paused it and I went right up to the TV and looked at it very, very closely. Yes, this is the picture, and his mustache doesn't look quite as weird there. But he did have, you can't really tell like by looking at this, but it did have light colored eyes. And of course, this is black and white as well. But the actor, which they can't mandict the the actor, his eyes were obviously dark, and you can pretty much see that right there. His eyes were dark, and where this one you can't really tell from the picture, but it was light right up when I got on the screen. So that's pretty funny. But in going back to this, when I noticed that it had changed back to this now, from this, and I've learned that this meant positive and this went negative, I'm just going to take that as a sign that my life's going to be going in the positive direction now. So I hope that's the case. But anyway, I saw 3 Emmy channels with something on the swastika, and Emmy had, they were all about 9 or 10 months ago, or 8. And I don't know if this video has changed, or it was just probably just my confusion with the counterclockwise, clockwise when I first went through these, but because I believe he was saying this was right, but I thought he was showing all the wrong ones, so I'm not real sure. I'll have to ask him about that. And then Scarab Performance, the same thing. He did a video on that, and he was showing, that it is shown both ways. But I believe that he said that this was the way he remembered it, but that it was the other way at that time, reversed. And so, I don't know if most people have seen it this way recently, or if they've seen it the other way recently, or not. The third one is Regatta Bonner's channel, and it was interesting in the fact that kind of a disturbing thing is that, and this astounds me, he found out that the 145th 158 U.S. Army Artillery Division used Nazi swastika for its official sleeve insignia. That is scary. That I don't believe that happened in my old reality. I can't imagine that it would have. And so it's very, very scary. Another thing about looking at these Emmy channels from like 8 or 9 months ago is that I've decided that from now on, whenever I view an Emmy channel, and I always do that now, but I didn't when I first started looking into the Emmy, is for every video that I watch, I have to put a dislike or a like, or a thumbs up or down on it, the video. That way I know I've seen it or not, because none of these 3 were marked, which I know I didn't see this one. I may have seen the other 2, but because a lot of times, like, I'll see something change, and then I'll go to a channel where I know I've seen it every video, and unless they've, popped in one that they had done from a long time ago, taken down and put back up, there's new ones, but they're not new. They're like a year old even sometimes. And so that's why I think it's important when I go to the ME channels to always like or dislike the video. I think that's very important. Okay, more on the swastika. Denver Airport. When you look at these pictures, and I live in Colorado, by the way, the flat part though. But anyway, when you look at these pictures, you think, oh my goodness, what a beautiful, beautiful airport. Well, I'll get back. I'm going to go back to this because I have a couple other things I want to show you. But the runways are in the shape of a swastika. And I remember when this was being built, relatives of mine said that there were just rumors in Denver about, and they lived in Denver at the time, that uh, people would get hired for work in these underground bases, and they would be very limited in scope. They would just work for just in their own area, and they weren't allowed to talk to people, and they would just bus them in, bus them out, or subway them in or subway them out, or whatever they were doing. And then they'd fire them all at the completion of the job, and how strange and weird it was. So anyway, that's something weird there. And these are pictures, but I brought up Google Maps. I was going to do Google Earth, but I'd be embarrassed if I did that because I'm not any good at it at all. I use it, but anyway, this is from Google Maps. And so you can kind of clearly see it's in the shape of, there's that, and there's that, shape of a swastika. Okay, so the airport is on the east side of Denver, and if you zoom out, oh shoot, that's way too much, isn't it? Anyway, here's Denver. The airport is right here. Well, actually, no, yeah, it is. It's in between 76 and I-70. But here's the mountains, and then I live like clear out in the northeastern, flat part of Colorado. And in fact, this is an actual picture that I took where I live. You see how flat that is? So no mountains to be seen. But anyway, if you go back and look at, that's not the one I wanted. This one. That one. This one is the one I wanted. Okay. If you look at, see, here's the airport, and then there's the mountains in the background. So, I mean, it's a very beautiful place when you look at these pictures, right? Well, aside from the swastika runways, now there's also this thing, which I'm going to get to in a minute, but doesn't this kind of look like an angel? That's kind of strange. And anyway, this is called, actually the official name is Blue Mustang, but people in Denver call it Blucifer because it's pretty evil looking. We'll go to, I mean, just look at that. It's got glowing red eyes at night. It's got all kinds of weird markings on it. It's just craziness. That's a weird picture with the moon and that. Wow. But yeah, and I've flown in and out of DIA, Denver International, several times. I mean, I live here. I didn't live here for a number of years, but I've flown in and out of there several times. I've seen it up close. I've also seen a lot of the weird murals that are up there. And that's these right here. Okay, now I'm gonna go to a site that I recommend that you visit, which I did when it was being built. Okay, let's see if I can, do they have the, yeah, here it is. Right here, you can read it. Okay, see, there's the Mason sign. And it says it was commissioned by the New World Airport Commission, which there is no such thing if you look it up. None. So that's strange in and of itself. But this site, here, I highly recommend vigilantcitizen.com. Just, Google or search. You don't have to Google it. I use DuckDuckGo a lot of times. Vigilant Citizen, Denver International Airport, and this will come up. Now, look at the nice looking murals they have at the airport. First of all, this was done in 2008. And I read this article right when it came out because I was interested in what it had to say based on what my relatives said about the workers being hired and fired and all this. But yeah, this mural has some kind of soldier, kind of Nazi looking, with a gas mask and a sword kind of in the rear end of a dove. Children, a little child with a teddy bear. and a destroyed city and kind of ghoulish looking things right here. And mother and child, looks like the child has died. Isn't that beautiful for an airport mural? Okay, now I would recommend you read this entire article, but this would take me, I could go on for 2 hours over this, and I don't think you want that. So anyway, well, shoot, I was going to go into that, but you can read it yourself. I'll just go down to, okay, one thing I didn't mention about Blucifer, or maybe I did, but I'm going to again, is that, oh darn, where is it? Okay, here we go. Okay, it was done by Luis Jimenez. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. I'm probably not. Please forgive me. Okay, but he died. um, it killed its creator when a section of it fell on him at his studio. You hear that so often about these weird sacrifices and stuff like that. I mean, even like the Gothard Tunnel and then that place up in Canada, that little island thing where I don't know. But anyway, yes, he killed his creator. All right, so going back to this, okay, yes, the eyes glow. I've been there at night. I've seen it myself. I'm not that scared of it, but anyway, here's some pictures. It's just kind of, see, look at all the weird veins and stuff it has. It's just weirdness. Very weird. It's 32 feet high. I'm surprised if that's not even incorrect. I'm surprised it's not 33, but maybe. Anyway, some people think it's the pale horse. And talked about in the Bible in Revelation. This verse right here. Okay, getting into, oh, there goes about the guide, or the, I guess it's the capstone, yeah, Masonic capstone. I talked about that a little bit earlier, but Masonic symbol, Masonic symbol. And like I said, this thing, New World Airport Commission, that does not even exist. Martin Marietta was part of it. Zimmerman Metals, I'm surprised that's not Zimmern. All right. Here's another lovely one. It's weird. You'll have to research this because, like I said, I could. Here's one of the children up above was holding the remains of a Mayan tablet, signifying the end of the world, I guess. Oh, this is lovely. A child dead, symbolic in a casket. That they put it this way. I believe it's flipped the other, laying down. But and there's this Jewish star and a Bible. So I don't know if that's symbolizing death to Christians and Jews. Don't know. But you can, do a lot of this research yourself. And look at the rainbow. And there's so many rainbow things now. I don't know. There's an American flag, a Jewish flag. I don't know. There's a lot of symbolism in this. You can, oh, and look at this. I figured out what remember in one of my videos, if you've listened to it, I couldn't figure out. I thought that picture had changed, but it was really just whenever I go down to this corner, it does that. I have no idea why, but I figured out that mystery of why it did that. Okay, so there's the one I talked about before, and then it gives the details of the letter from an actual Jewish child in a concentration camp. And here's another one that has a lot of symbolism to it that they go into. Lotus flower, I believe. And she compares it to what the Georgia Guidestone, or she or he, I don't know. there's gargoyles present at the airport. Weird like eclipses and stuff on the floor. Now I've seen these myself as well because I've been there several times. I mean, what's that? Very strange stuff for the airport. But anyway, that is that. And then also, there's a couple other, let's see, what did I? All right, and then some people say, you know, that the Blucifer is the pale horse, and other people say, well, maybe they mean the white horse, you know, from the Bible is the one it. Well, I think it's Sports Authority Field now, but it used to be a Vesco Field, but it's sitting on top of there, and there you can see that too. But anyway, going back to this, since it's no longer this for me, which it was in the past 2 weeks, and it's my fifth flip-flop and it's going this, and right means positive, I, like I said before, am taking this as a sign that my life is going to be going a positive direction. And so let me know in the comments if you know which way you've last remembered seeing it, and if it's flipped for you or not, and if you you know which one's right to you. Is it the left one or the right one? Thanks for listening. I'll talk to you soon. Bye bye.